Hi everyone, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today. Today we're gonna learn about a procedure text. Anyway, before we start the lesson, have you heard of procedure text before? Well, if you haven't, I'll tell you what procedure text is. It is a type of text that tells you how to do something step by step. Like a recipe or a manual. Nah, jadi kalau di bahasa Indonesianya itu adalah jenis teks yang memberitahu cara melakukan sesuatu sesuai dengan urutan. So, what makes procedure text different from the other text types? It has unique structure which made up of like the first is goal, and then the material or tools, and then the steps. So, what is goal? So basically goals is like the title, and then the material or the tools, it's the things that we need to do the tutorial, and then the third is the step, which is literally the procedure. Jadi di dalam prosedur teks itu ada namanya struktur. Nah, struktur ini yang bikin unik. Ada goalnya, judulnya, kemudian ada materialnya atau toolsnya, dan yang terakhir kita punya stepnya atau urutannya. Well, inside procedure text, there are some language features that we need to know to make our text more structured. The first is present simple, and then the second is imperative sentences, and then the third is connective words, and then the last one is adverb. For today's lesson, we're going to cover only imperative sentences and connective words. What is imperative sentences? It is types of sentence without a subject. Jadi, apa sih kalimat imperatif itu? Kalimat imperatif adalah kalimat yang tidak memiliki subjek. Does that sound weird? Well, actually, no. Before we dive into the imperative sentence, we need to know what basic sentence is. Here's how it works. Basic sentence always has this simple structure, like a subject, verb, and the object. So it doesn't matter what the tenses are, simple sentence always follows this structure. So before we dive into our basic sentence, do you know what subject are in English? If you Google it, there are 7 subjects. First, it's I, you, they, we, she, he, it. How about the verb? What about the verb? Well, basically it's action, everything that we are doing in our life. So, for example, this is the sentence that we're gonna break down. The example is, I turn on the camera. My question is, where is the subject? Of course, the subject is I. What about the verb? Well, the verb is really clear, it's turn off. What about the object? Of course, the object is the camera. It's really clear. The second example, they close the coffee shop at 9 p.m. Well, this one is a little bit trickier than before because it's a little bit longer. If we look carefully about our sentence, which one is the subject? It's really clear the subject is they. It always appears in the very first sentence. What about the verb? The verb is close. What about the object? Well, here the object is a little bit longer. The coffee shop at 9 p.m. Those words are the objects. I think the explanation for the basic sentence is very clear. We can go back to the topic about imperative sentence. Anyway, do you still remember about what imperative sentence is? It is a sentence without a subject. Now, we have only need 2 parts of speech here, the verb and the object. For example, what is verb? Think of a verb. I'm gonna write the word push. What about the object? The object is, I wanna say door. Which one do you think is the verb? Well, of course, the verb is close or push. What about the object? The object is the door. Okay, there you have it. We have just made an imperative sentence. It's really clear. We just need the verb and the object. Alright, how about the second example? My second example is check the ink before using the printer. Can you guess which one is the verb? Of course, it always appears in the first sentence when it comes to imperative sentences. The verb is check and the object is the ink before using the printer. Yeah, you heard it correct. Those are the object. because it is imperative sentence. Alright, I think that's all for the explanation. Moving on to the second topic, which is connective words. Do you have any idea what connective words are? Think of like a glue in sentences. It connects ideas or to make our words easy to follow. If you Google it, you're gonna find dozens of connective words. But for now, we can just focus on procedure text. Here are some examples of connected words that are very common. For example, first, second, third, fourth, next, then, and finally. My question is, how do we use it? Or when do we use it? Actually, it's very easy. We can just put one of those connectives between imperative sentences. For example, this is my sentences. First, check the battery level before using the camera. Which one is the connective? The connective is first. Second, turn on the camera until the screen is on. Can you guess? Well, second is the connective. Second. Next, place your index finger around the button. Where is the connectives? Next is the connectives. Next. Then, adjust the object properly. Which one is the connectives? The connectives is then. And the last one, finally press the button to take a picture. Well, finally is the connectives. That's the short example of using connective words in a procedure text. To wrap up our lesson, today we have learned what? Imperative sentences. Imperative sentence is a sentence without a subject. So we just need the verb and the object to make our sentence. We just need two parts of speech here. The object and then the verb. For example, turn on the camera. The verb is turn on, and then the object, of course, the camera is the object. Then we have learned about connective words. There are some common connective words in procedure text. For example, like first, second, third, next, and finally. Alright, I think that's all for the lesson today. I hope it can help you to better understand about procedure text, and thank you for watching.
Daftar sekarang di SMK TI Airlangga. Langsung akses ke psb.smkti.net.